Hi, everyone. This is EstaRa with a message for you. It is Sunday, October 2nd, 2016, Eastern Standard Time. And I wanted to let you know that we are going to do a card reading today. And I'm also going to bring you some messages about what's happening. So, this last week of, before we move into the new moon, the last week of September was pretty intense. Did you all feel that? I felt like everything was going fast forward during Mercury retrograde. At least for my life, that's what I experienced. And I saw that in other people's lives as well. A lot of things surfacing, coming up for clearing, but a lot of stuff just busy work, things I had to get moved through, had to get done, had to put closure to. And I actually felt like a sense of urgency with it. And I know that I mentioned that in the previous video that I did, but I don't know if I used the word urgency. It was like the sense of urgency. And my guides were like, yes, it is a sense of urgency. You need to close out what no longer serves. It needs to go because you are now beginning to embody the new you. And I was like, oh. And so interesting, early last week, I felt like the energy that was going fast, forward, all of a sudden came to like a screeching halt. Well, I say screeching halt, but the truth was it actually slowed down a bit. It felt a little bit lighter, not as intensified and not as crazy. Mercury had moved direct, and by early last week, I felt, a shift happening where it wasn't as intense. And it wasn't as I didn't have a sense of urgency in the same way that I had during earlier in September. So I feel like that was a big shift for all of us. And then I felt the energy move forward a little bit more in the direction of this new moon that was coming up. It felt I felt lighter. I felt a little bit better. I actually had something happen on Tuesday of last week. I woke up and I was going about my business, doing my normal routine, whatever, doing my day. I had another client, and then I had friends coming over for dinner that evening. And before that, all of a sudden, my back went out. My back that had been quote unquote healed, my lower back had been healed since pretty much last November. And I say healed, not particularly fixed or anything. Like I still had achiness and all that stuff, but I didn't have this. And my back has been out now since last Tuesday. And just before I was about to record this video, I had been asking my guides, what do I do with this? How does this go? And they said it's root chakra energy. And there's major shifting in the root chakra. That's what September was about. And the integration of that energy body, all the updates, the embodiments we've been doing for the last couple months, huge shifting. And it's moving its way into the physical realm. And what's interesting is my lumbar spine, the lower back part for me, is like my weak spot. And that's where energy will sit, energy will like get stuck, and also that's where our stubbornness is, if you will. That's where we have old beliefs, old patterns that need to go and move from us. And during this last month, that's what I've been working on. Also, financial stuff. That's our financial area as well. So when you think of root chakra, you think of security, stability, family, beliefs, traditions, patterns. Think about the years of birth to 7. Like what goes on in your life during that time? Who are you exposed to? What do you start to learn about? And what is the most important? And obviously security. And so in our world, in the human world, unfortunately, we still stick to the financial system and being really focused on needing to have money to survive. And my focus hasn't always been there. My focus on money has been more about like let's help somebody and then we'll figure it out. Um, and so I noticed that in the last month, I've been really focused on what do I need to do to be okay, and how do I make myself secure and stable, and what needs to get cleared out of the way, what needs to be dealt with that I hadn't dealt with, or that I was able to push aside for a little while. That was a big deal of last week. So lower back. It's actually specifically the sacroiliac joint that's out, so it's hitting the sciatic nerve a little. What is interesting to me is that my guides are telling me it's about being embodied. And so when I recorded a video a couple months back, I said in July, hey, we are going through major transformation. We're not going to see the likes of what really happened and transpired through the month of July until later, like 1 to 3 months later. And so then in August, they were telling me that we were going to start embodying the new us. So everything that transpired and transformed in a higher dimensional frequency in July started to come down and filter through us into a physical embodiment. It was coming slowly, and it depends on where you are energetically on your path of ascension. It also depends on where you are with regard to your frequency and vibration, how fast or how quickly it comes through, or how slowly. And so that was August, and then September was like still that embodiment energy coming down into us. and also gave us opportunities to clear any of the blocks to that energy coming into us, because we really changed. Major things have changed. And so that happening created shifts within every single person. So I don't believe anyone was untouched in the month of I was going to say February, the month of September. I really believe a lot has happened, a lot has transpired, and I don't feel that what was going on in September was solely twin flames. I think everyone on the planet was experiencing it. I just feel like it's heightened a little bit more for us twin flames because we have a mission that we are being called to do very shortly and very soon. So I feel like if you're not already on mission, I feel like you're getting called to it. So pay attention to the messages, the signs that came to you, what you needed to clear, what you needed to push through, because in that is wisdom about who you are and why you're here and what your mission is. So that was was happening in September. So in addition to September being like, the embodiment still coming down and anchoring itself inside of us, inside of our reality, inside of our physical being, there was also the potential and possibility for people to navigate this new energy. And so, depending again where you are on ascension, you may have been using this energy to do things. Well, I did. I actually did a lot of stuff. I accomplished a lot of things, but I'm blogging about some of the stuff that happened, and my guides are blogging, I should say. They're giving information about what my experience was over the month of September. So if you're interested in that, please check out my blog. I'm not going to talk a lot about that today. This is more about twin flames in specific, and although that is too, but this is actually more important that I want to get this other information out to you. So that was happening this week. So back pain, not good. Doesn't mean I can sit very long. Quite honestly, I'm recording this video reluctantly because I know I need to, and there's a lot of information to get out. But I'm afraid to stand up because my back usually locks and gets stuck, and that means I'll be on the sofa with my legs elevated and head flat, and probably watching something on my TV. And I don't have television, so I have to like watch a movie that I have, or find something on Netflix. Um, so what's interesting is we moved into on Friday. We moved into a new moon of October, and it brought in the energy of the black moon, which is really interesting. So a lot of people were talking about how this black moon is so powerful and so many opportunities are coming up. Totally agree with that. Totally feel that. My guides want me to let you know that it actually moved us into a new timeline, not just a new moon and new beginnings. Because usually new moon, again, it feels like new beginnings. Lots of changes, but I don't feel that with this new moon. This year, it's been so interesting. The energy doesn't feel like it always has, and I feel like this new moon is more of the new us coming out. So it's not like a new beginning, it's still us, and it's more like the new embodiment of us coming out and being ready to use this new embodiment and use the new tools that have been downloaded into us. Because believe me, they've been downloaded. A lot has been downloaded over the last 3 months. And I feel like lots of changes are coming. A lot of changes are coming. And this new moon has opened the pathway and the doorway for many of us into this new timeline where really you have power that you hadn't had before. And in this timeline, it's so malleable and more multidimensional. So the creation energy is much stronger. And so learning to navigate your new embodiment, your new light body, learning to navigate that with this energy is really key going forward in the next few months because you are creating as you go. We talk about this before. My guides are very clear about this often, but I feel like it's really, really imperative that we pay attention to how we're creating and what we're putting out there. And it's funny, I say that to you and I think, oh my God, I've been in pain all week and saying, oh, my back hurts. I hate saying that because I don't want to keep manifesting it. But at some point, I kind of have to say it to let people know that's why I'm canceling or that's why I couldn't do something. Um, so it's really important to pay attention. Heed the words that you're putting out there. Heed the thoughts you're putting out there. And look at what's going on. Last month was such a grand opportunity for clearing and releasing and unblocking things. And again, my root chakra being affected, I feel like all of our root chakras were affected because in order to fully anchor and embody that new you, it has to come down through every single chakra. So my feeling with that is that, for myself particularly, that it's a sacroiliac joint. So that's like root chakra level. It's just below sacral, and I would say it's kind of like on the line of sacral and root chakra. So to me, the fact that I got like a kink in it tells me that the embodiment had a little bit of a block there, and I had to work on clearing that. And I'm going to still work on clearing that. I've been working with my guides for the last few days, particularly focusing on clearing any negative energies, curses, dark entities, any past life beliefs, programming, anything that is preventing me and my beloved from coming together and preventing me from moving forward successfully in this life. Clearing that out of those two chakras. So I encourage you to use those words when you are working with your guides and your angels, and asking that you clear those things for you. And wherever you found that you may have had something come up this week that affected you, now it might not be a physical thing. For me, I often get the physical things because it's obviously I'm not paying attention to the other etheric things. Um, so I usually get it in a physical way. But for you, if something came up for you, pay attention to that and then start clearing it. But look at where it came from, look at the root cause, go back there and clear that. And if you need assistance with that, please, feel free to contact me. I'll be glad to set up a session with you and help you, assist you in doing that. What's interesting too is this new energy. This morning, I woke up and I felt like something was different. Nothing feels good. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel bad. It just feels different. Like I walk around my house, I'm actually looking around it right now, and I'm thinking something is different here. I'm not sure what it is, but there is something really different here. So I feel like we're in a different timeline. We've already hopped it, if you will. We're in that new space. So it feels kind of good. And I say kind of good because it doesn't feel like good or like bad. It just feels good. I feel comfortable. Um I feel lighter. I guess that's more the word that I would use. I feel lighter today. And I feel like we're getting ready to really shift. And so over the last several days, my guide said, let's just get through this first quarter moon. So the first quarter moon is about a week after the new moon. And I believe we're really moving into this energy of like, let's still get through this. There's still stuff going on, still changes and transformations happening behind the scenes or with the unseen, if you will. And that's creating a way for us for the future and creating a path, and I feel like major things are happening. So let's step away from that piece and bring in some twin flame energy and talk about that a little more. So in the last week, I've had some sessions with different clients. Last 2 weeks, particularly, I would say there's about 2, 3 people, particularly that are jumping out in my mind. Maybe 4 people that I've been doing sessions with, and they are people I've known, clients I've known for a while, actually, and a friend as well. Um, that I've known for quite some time. And out of nowhere, they're telling me I'm having this dream of someone that I used to love. Oh my God, I really loved this person. And I haven't talked to them, I haven't heard from them, but I'm having like these dreams. I'm having these thoughts just come in out of nowhere. Now, with these particular individuals, they don't know themselves or they don't identify themselves with being a twin flame. I would say 2 of the 4 I have done readings before with them, and I felt like they were twin flames, but I was guided not to say anything. My guides will give me this message of it's up to the person to awaken to it when they're ready. Because if I say something to them, then they might run with it and either take off with it and expect things to be like this easy thing, or not trust their inner truth, and their inner truth is what needs to come to them. So what I found really interesting with these particular individuals, I feel them to be a little bit more masculine than feminine, even though the particular individuals I'm talking about are female, and they're telling me about these dreams and how they can't stop thinking about this person, or they're having thoughts of them just come in out of nowhere. That is a sign to all of you. That is a huge sign that the awakening energy is going out. It's gone out. It's waking people up. It's interfering with their day to day life. And here's the thing with these individuals, it is interfering because they wouldn't bring it up to me. They wouldn't talk to me about it. They wouldn't say, "What do you think?" Or, "Isn't that crazy? Out of nowhere, this is happening." So those of you who feel like your twin's been asleep, your twin's not doing his work, or he or she is not doing his work, his or her work, or you're finding that I don't know, I don't hear anything, I don't know what to do, please, by all means, take what I'm saying to you as it is happening. The wake up is here. These beautiful souls that I know that have been, I guess I would say, a little resistant, just like our twins at times, a little resistant to this new energy and the changes that are coming. They are being awakened. They are being quote unquote pummeled, is what I used to say, and I like to say, because it's coming in fast to them. It's coming in, it's waking them up, and it's happening over a period of time. And because that wake up is happening, on a physical level, they're having these epiphanies, they're having these awarenesses. Now, is it tumbling into, oh, yes, I am definitely a twin flame and I need to go find this person now? No, because they're just getting the energy coming into a physical reality for them now. Prior, it's been in a higher dimension, right? So it's been coming down through them. So to me, this is a huge sign for all twin flames. Why? Why do I think it's a huge sign for all twin flames? Well, first, those of us in the first wave, that means we're coming together. Union's happening and things are coming together. People are connecting. And if you are in the first wave, you and your twin are likely to have more and more interactions. You are likely to come into full physical union in a very short period of time, is my feeling. And then those of you in the next wave, you are starting to move into into alignment with your twins so that you start to have interactions better, deeper. Then there's another wave that is actually in the process of clearing and healing, but it's a ripple effect outward to each wave of twin flames. And then these other people are the most recent wave of twin flames being awakened. And here's what's interesting. I feel like this whole year is like huge awakening because closings are happening, right? So we're ending things and we're getting ready to move into new beginnings with next year. And I feel like we're actually starting that process right now because if those of you who are familiar, today is actually Rosh Hashanah, which is an Lashana Tova to those of you who are practicing Judaism or actually, celebrate this holiday. Um, it is the Jewish New Year, and it feels like it. I feel the energy of the new. Like I said to you, it's something's different today. It's not good, not bad. It's just different, and I feel like the energy's shifted. We're shifting, and I look out my window and I'm noticing that there's leaves on the trees that are now turning red, and it's getting a little cooler up here in New England, and it's getting ready for beautiful um, leaves changing rapidly and being colorful and magical looking. Everybody talks about the New England autumn and fall leaves. Well, it's starting to happen here, and hadn't happened in a while. So I'm seeing like, ooh, it's really feeling like fall. So a lot of things are changing, and I feel like that's representative of everything else. And so those people who are being awakened and it's coming into the reality, they're not ready yet. They're not at the step where they're going to leave their relationships necessarily. They're not at the step of like, okay, I'm going to embody and embrace who I am fully as a twin flame because they're not quite there yet. But it's happening. It's happening in an awareness way. So they're going to have these people come back and they're not going to be able to shake them off and they're not sure how to do that. What does that mean? Why do they keep coming back? It's going to make them look into it further and understand it a little bit more and really check into things. So I want you to know that you are exactly where you are meant to be at this time. And all of us, every one of us, wherever you are on this ascension path, is being affected by this energy. And the fact that I'm telling you that these people are coming in with these, like, I don't know, I can't shake them. They just keep coming up. Or I feel like this person's thinking about me. When they say that, it's not, and they, on a human level, they may act like they're done with that person. They have no desire to speak to them. They don't want to talk to them. The reality is, it's in their face, it's in their energy, it's in their field. And so they can't run from that. As most of us who are twins, we know we can't run from it. And they can try, and they will try, because that is part of the journey. We try to run away and say, oh, no, this is not acceptable. I'm not going to do this. I remember when I met my twin and I found out he wasn't available, I thought, oh my God, this is not what I want. I need to move on. And it never happened, obviously. Here I am 11 years later, still here for him. And I think that's what is the huge sign for all of you that something big is coming. So I'm really excited about that. Please trust in that and have faith. We are moving into a amazing time on this planet. And I feel like a lot of good things are coming our way. So please, please, please trust in your heart and stay there and focus on there. So let's look at some cards that I pulled. So I pulled them before I came onto this, and I want to. I only pulled a few cards. I pulled one for the divine masculine, one representing the divine feminine for the new moon of October, and also I pulled a card regarding the union, the relationship, and actually two cards came out. So that we have four cards we're going to go over. And I want to just like let you all know that it's really time for change. It might not appear it on a human level. It looks chaotic and crazy, but it's happening. It's been happening internally for each and every one of us, and soon it's coming out externally. And I actually see it. I see it with my twin, how he's changed, how loving and how beautiful he's been, and I'm seeing that, and that's showing me that the changes are really happening. So please hold on if you're struggling and you're having a tough time. All right, so let's look at where we're at because maybe this will help us. So let's look at where we're at in terms of the divine masculine. Oh, I like this card. So this card is called the Seeker of Wands. Let me show that to all of you. Pull it down so you can see it more clearly. Do you see that Dorothy looking at her ruby red slippers, and you see Toto, and you see the hot air balloon, you see the Emerald City, and the Wizard of Oz. He's like leaning out of the hot air balloon. I think he's calling to Dorothy. Um, so, what I find really intriguing and interesting that this is representing the divine masculine at this time. What's really amazing to me is that this divine masculine energy, Dorothy was looking for a way to get home, right? Isn't that the whole thing? The whole thing was about she didn't know how to find her way home. But if you see her ruby red slipper here and here, then you know that she always had the way. Always. All she needed to do is click her heels 3 times, right? So when I look at this card, I'm sorry for the itching of my nose. It's very itchy in here. Um, this this card really speaks to me about our divine masculine and and recognizing that they're trying to find home. What feels like home? Now here's interesting thing. One of the things that I've learned over my journey, over the many years I've been on this journey, is that um, wherever you are, you should be able to create home and find home, right? But there is only one person that makes you feel home, or actually helps you to understand home and to really experience home. And I remember when I met my twin, the first time I hugged him, I had this feeling that I was home. And then there was a point where I walked away from him. I was guided to like step away for, and I did for about a year, a little over a year. And the first time I saw him after that, he was like resistant to seeing me. But Archangel Michael was like, "You need to go. You need to listen to your heart. Trust what you know to be true in your heart. Don't listen to his words." And his words were like, "I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you anymore." And he was sitting with me. But first, he hugged me. And I heard his spirit say, "I'm home." And that was so life altering for me because that confirmed everything that I felt on a spirit level and in my heart. Of course, his human words were like, "I don't want to see you anymore. We cannot talk anymore, blah, 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 whatever." But the truth was that his spirit knew better. Of course, it always does. And Archangel Michael knew better. And he told me, listen with your heart, not with your head. Don't listen to his words. Trust your heart. It's your truth. And I feel like this card reminds me of that story of like knowing where home is. And if you have already met your twin, and your divine masculine counterpart is not with you yet, but they've been with you, or they've experienced time with you, or they know who you are, um, short or long, however much time you spent with them, they know that you're their home. And I feel like this card signifies that's where the masculine is. They know you're home. You're their home. They belong to you. You belong to them. They know this. Now, how they get there, they're not quite sure yet. And that's where they're a little bit navigating and learning this new energy, but also learning that they have the answers already inside of them here with their shoes. They're not quite sure yet. They're beginning to have that recognition, and the answers are coming into them. It's showing themselves. Now, those of you who've not met your twin, who have not had an experience with their twin yet, I believe this card says that that divine masculine that you're looking for is out there recognizing they feel lost. Something isn't right, something's missing. There's got to be something more. I believe that awareness is in their reality right now, and that they too are having to look inward for their answers. They have to look inward for their answers because that's where they are, right? So we can't always bring externally the answers to them. I'd love to say to my twin, "Here's the answers. This is what you do." He would be like, "You're a nut job. I can't handle that." Although I have to say, over the years, I have tried that. It doesn't work. It's when he comes to his own realizations, his own answers, that the truth sits inside of him in a different way. Now, I might be able to give him information along the way over the years, and it'll come into him, but it takes a while to sink in, on a human level for him. But he does. It does eventually, and perhaps that's part of why things are changing. But I want you to know your divine masculine is so ready to wake up to who he truly is, and he's ready to come home. That's what this tells me. And how quickly that is, I don't know, because I want you to all realize that I don't get the exact time for people. I don't and if I ever give somebody a timeline, it's because I'm really hearing this is the time. But I usually don't give a timeline because I don't know. I really don't. And even for myself, I don't really know all my timelines. Although I get information, it comes in. Sometimes I hear it and I trust it fully. Sometimes I get like, oh, I don't want it to be, or I want it to be. And then I put my human stuff in and it kind of makes it all muddled. So I don't like doing the timeline thing. So each of us is on a different path. Each of us is on a different part of our journey. And each of us is in different level of ascension. So that means some of us might be still in the clearing phase. Some of us might be still in the embodying who we are phase and understanding ourselves and learning to heal ourselves before we can come into full union with someone else. And they might be in that same space. So for the divine masculine, this really represents to me that it's happening, that they are moving forward, they are ready. So that's an amazing, amazing card. So for the divine feminine, oh, I like this one too. So it's the Seven of Wands. And if you can see, oh, see, I'm really bad at this camera thing. If you can see that, Seven of Wands. See those beautiful little fairy, naked fairy, and I see all these beautiful butterflies. Well, I have to tell you, when I look at this, I feel like that's the divine feminine, what we've gone through, and we are naked. If you think about it, we are empty, we are naked. We have all this energy of change around us, and that's what I think the butterflies represent when you look up there. But we're kind of like in a protective shield right now, like we're being protective. Like I said, how September was such a trying month and so many things had happened. I feel like we're out of that, we're a little more exposed, hence the nakedness, but yet we're very protected. So I feel like the feminine is exposed. We've gone through so much. It's been raw, it's been rough in September for many of us. And, even those of us who think, oh, it's been really great, it didn't really affect me. It did. You just might not be aware of it right now, and you might not understand exactly how it did affect you, or you're kind of writing it off as a human thing, but really it's the energy that's done this. So I look at this and I feel like we've all been exposed. So now we're naked and we're like, it's us really learning to own us and be who we are. And and then when I look at the flower around, I feel like the flower is the protection. And I love that it's pink. It's this beautiful pink energy. And to me, that's divine unconditional love. We're like wrapped in a blanket of it and protected going forward. So while he is looking for home and coming to find us, we're like, here, wait, we're waiting, we're raw and ready. And when I think of raw and ready, I also think of like setting down our shield, setting down our guard, and getting rid of anything that um, may create havoc between us or friction. So for example, like instead of me having my defense mechanisms up, it made me break them down, and it's making me go in and realize I need to clear this. I can't be angry with him. I need to clear resentment out of my heart. I need to clear frustration out of my throat. I need to clear disappointment out of my throat, and I need to just be open and willing and vulnerable with my beautiful man, my beautiful beloved divine masculine. So this is very divine feminine energy what's happening. So I encourage all of you to please, look inside your heart and see what you need to release. So a lot of you may have some heart chakra stuff. I did record a video on a heart chakra clearing. You'll see this beautiful picture of Archangel Raphael in green. Go to that on this YouTube channel, check it out, and use it to clear. It's an Arcturian clearing, as well as Mother Mary and the Goddess Kuan Yin assisted with that. Okay, so that's divine feminine. When I look into us as a couple, let's see what I see. These are magnificent cards. So I will tell you why in a moment. Let me show you the first card is Seven of Crystals. Do you all see that? It's a beautiful gnome sitting inside lighting candles with this beautiful crystal. Oops, wrong way. There. And the rainbow energy she's sitting upon. And then here we have the Six of Wands, and that's all these little fairies dancing around like a maypole, and this giant butterfly showing us change and transformation. So when I look at these cards, let me talk about each of them first. So as a couple, as the union as a whole, as the relationship as a whole, when I look at the Seven of Crystals, the words I get when I look at this card about union, about the relationship, is we are creating as we go. We are lighting each other up. And it's taking us time, and we're being very delicate with it, being very specific with it, and being very discerning about our connection. and who we allow in our field. So I'm bringing that up because that's coming in really loud, actually, as I'm looking at this card. So what I'm hearing is pay attention to where your energy is being placed right now. So those of you on this journey as twin flames, please pay attention because we have people in our lives that mean well, are not harming us intentionally, and not and some might have intentions to like say negative things, but for the most part most people are not there to do that, but they're going through their own stuff and they're not taking care of themselves. They're still in that victim energy. They're still in that old paradigm energy. Now, is it on purpose that they're there? Absolutely not. That's their part of the journey. That's where they're at. That's where they're getting stuck perhaps. That energy cannot be around you at this time. You can't have this energy. So I'll give a quick example. So this week I was talking to someone about my twin flame and how I was it's a really good friend of mine, and I had said how I was going to, he wants to see me, and I just shared a little bit about our conversation, and then she started asking questions about it. And immediately I was like, please stop that. Stop asking me questions. I am accepting right now where I'm at. I am trusting he is giving me what he needs to and what he can at this time. I'm not going in to analyze, psychoanalyze anything that he says, because when I do that, I get off my path. And quite honestly, that is not me. I have a flow with him that only I would understand. He and I are the only ones that would understand the flow and the exchanges that we have with each other and what that means to us. And so, somebody on the outside questioning, asking things, either you have to stop them because if they're psychoanalyzing because they're trying to figure out their own world, or that's how they create their reality or how they think of their reality, and it might work perfect for them, it might not, but regardless, if it's not your way of doing things, do not allow that to interfere or be in your energy field, because then you start doing that, you take on that frequency and that vibration, it lowers yours, but it also brings you into a place where you probably aren't comfortable. Like, I'm not comfortable in the 25 questions. I need to know all these things because guess what? I've learned to live in the unknown. I've been living in the unknown since 2008, and it's not always easy and it's not always fun, but it gets easier and easier as time goes on. And when I'm in a very balanced place, it's very easy for me to stay in the unknown and just trust and have faith. And that is the union energy, is having trust and having faith. And so this is very deliberate. Oh, excuse me. This is very deliberate energy where they're lighting the candles very deliberately. And I feel that's what's jumping out to me with this card. And I feel like this union is being, it's like we need, as couples, we need to protect our union very deliberately about who we're allowing in and who we're not allowing in. And then I look at this card and I love it. To me, this is celebration. This is positive things. People are coming together. They're singing and dancing. So I feel like this Six of Wands represents huge change for twin flames. And it really goes back to what I was saying earlier. The awakenings are happening, kind of what I was giving in my message earlier. The awakening's happening. It's happening on every level for every single twin on this planet. Now, everybody's experience looks different. Everybody's experience is different, and everybody's ascension ladder is different because they're on a different rung, if you will, and they're not all in the same place, and that's okay, and that's normal, that's acceptable, and that's how it should be, and that's how it is. I mean, we are not all the same. Yes, we have a path that we do a lot of similar things. We have a lot of uh, similar issues, similar channels we kind of go through. Um, I know for myself, like similar lessons have come up for me with other people, and I look at the twin flame readings that I do and the sessions I do, and I see common themes in people, and that is part of the journey. However, we're still individual couples. We are still not the same as someone else. We each bring a piece of the puzzle. We each bring something here. So when I look at this, we're all happy. There's energy of happiness, love, and celebration. And I got to tell you, after the month we've been in, the last few months we've been in, I feel like October's bringing opportunities for celebration. And so that feels so good to me. And this week, so we're talking about this new moon, and this week, um, I feel like October new moon is bringing opportunities for celebration. So if you can celebrate, celebrate. Get into that high vibe and that high frequency. And I feel like because they're all dancing around happy and celebration, and I also, the other thing that jumps up for me is like fertility. So like fertility could be literal, creating in some way, but fertility also means like the time is ripe and ready. It's fertile. It's fertile for connection with our twins. So I wouldn't be surprised if I hear from twins that they've heard from their twin in some way, shape, or form. I wouldn't be surprised if over the next month people have more and more interaction with their twin, or they start to see dreams coming true. I feel like we're in that timeline, and I feel like this represents what's going on with the couple. Celebration, time to celebrate. And if you're not yet in union, and if you're not with your twin, and I say not yet in union, I mean if you're not with your twin, um you still can celebrate all the little successes that you're having and all the pieces you're doing of your puzzle. So I'm hoping that, that helps and assists all of you this week. And I wish you all a blessed union. And I want to tell you that I send so much love and peace out to all of you, and the energy of unity and oneness, because we are all one and interconnected on this path. And so everything we say or do interacts and interferes and interrupts with everyone else on the planet. So trust in your soul always, and recognize that everything you do matters. Everything you do matters for you, matters for your twin, matters for the universe and everybody around you. Um, we have a lot coming. A lot is coming our way. And I'm saying it's different today. Totally feels different to me. Um, but there's good coming, there's not so good coming, there's a little bit of everything coming in the mixture. But let's focus on the good that we want to bring in, so that we keep bringing in that good. All right. Blessings. So much love to all of you. And if I could be of assistance to any of you and you'd like a session, healing or clearing, please feel free to contact me. And I'm going to be putting out a special video, offering a special for reading. So if anybody's interested in that, many blessings to you all. Have a great day.